The world of Chainsaw Man is not built on hope. It survives on fear. Fear seeps into every street, every apartment, every shadow between flickering city lights. Devils are not invaders from another realm. They are reflections, born from human terror, shaped by collective anxiety, strengthened by whispered nightmares and unspoken dread. In this world, suffering is not a side effect of chaos. It is the engine that keeps everything running. Here, power is never free. Every advantage demands payment. Every miracle comes with loss. Humans trade pieces of themselves for survival, while devils feast on the terror left behind. Denji was meant to be part of that system. A boy crushed under debt, shaped by poverty, clinging to life through desperation. His existence was small, painful, and expendable. A perfect candidate for contracts, sacrifices, and manipulation. A human shaped to fit a cruel world. But this story begins with a question that shatters that design completely. What if Denji never existed? What if, instead of a desperate teenager willing to sell his soul, something ancient and unstoppable took his place? What if Kratos entered a world where fear is the source of all power? Even though fear has never ruled him, Kratos does not arrive through summoning circles, contracts, or rituals. There is no warning etched into prophecy. No devil calls his name. Reality itself simply fails. The sky fractures without thunder. The air becomes heavy, distorted, as if the world itself is resisting something forcing its way inside. For a brief moment, the city feels pressure, not fear, but weight, the unbearable presence of something that does not belong. Then Kratos stands there. No Olympus, no Midgard, no gods screaming his name. Just rain-soaked streets, broken neon lights, and humans who walk with hollow eyes, already defeated by a life that has taught them not to hope. Kratos looks around and understands immediately. This is a world built on suffering. He has walked worlds like this before. The difference is subtle, but critical. This world feeds on fear. Kratos was forged by rage, loss, and consequence. Almost instantly, devils react, not because they sense prey, but because they sense disruption. Devils are predators of terror. They can smell weakness, panic, desperation, and Kratos brings none of that. His presence is not fearful, it is oppressive, a pressure that suffocates the very idea of dominance. A minor devil manifests first, crawling out of the shadows. Its form is warped, grotesque, stitched together by a common human fear, something mundane, something small. In this world, even the smallest fears can become monsters. It attacks without hesitation. That is how this world works. Devils strike first. Humans die quickly. But Kratos does not move. The blow lands against his body and means nothing. No blood, no recoil, no reaction. Slowly, Kratos turns his head. His eyes burn not with rage, but with something colder. Recognition. With a single motion, the devil is destroyed, not slain, not exorcised, erased. Its form collapses as if it never mattered, fear extinguished before it can echo. The world stutters. Something fundamental breaks. Devils are meant to be feared. They are meant to dominate humans through terror. They are not meant to disappear like that. Across the city, stronger devils feel it. Contracts tremble. The invisible web of fear that connects this world tightens. Hunters pause mid-mission, sensing something wrong without understanding what. Something has entered the system that does not obey its rules. Public safety notices almost immediately. At first, they assume a new devil has appeared. A dangerous one. Perhaps a rare manifestation. Something that needs to be monitored, contained, controlled. They prepare protocols, chains, strategies. They do not yet understand the truth. Kratos does not make contracts. He does not obey systems built on exploitation and fear. He does not fight for survival. He fights because destruction follows him. As Kratos moves through the city, he learns quickly. He sees devils hunting humans like animals. He watches people accept mutilation and loss in exchange for borrowed power. Arms, eyes, years of life. Everything is negotiable here, as long as fear remains profitable. And for the first time since leaving the gods behind, Kratos does not feel rage immediately. He feels disgust. This world does not challenge him, it humiliates itself. Unlike Denji, Kratos cannot be owned. No handler can leash him, no contract can bind him, no devil can offer him power he does not already possess. And unlike the devils, Kratos does not grow stronger from fear. He grows stronger from war. The devils begin to understand too late. Fear around Kratos does not empower them. It starves them. His presence crushes the very emotion they depend on. Where he walks, terror does not bloom. It dies. This world wanted a weapon. Instead, it invited a force that does not care who deserves to rule, only who must fall. Kratos does not seek to overthrow the system. He is the consequence of its existence. And as whispers spread through devil ranks and human organizations alike, one truth becomes unavoidable. Kratos did not come to save this world. But this world may not survive him. If you're enjoying this story so far, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the Kratos Effect, and comment below which devil you think would fall first against Kratos. Your support helps decide which worlds he breaks next. Public safety was built to manage fear. Its entire structure exists to catalogue, weaponize, and control terror before it consumes society. Devils are ranked, studied, hunted, and exploited. Hunters are trained to die if necessary. Contracts are signed, lives are spent. Everything follows procedure. Kratos breaks that logic the moment he enters it. Reports begin arriving from multiple districts at once. Devils neutralized without contracts. Entire manifestations erased before hunters could engage. No residue, no fear backlash. No surviving witnesses who can properly explain what they saw. Only one constant. A man, tall, scarred, silent. At first, public safety assumes exaggeration. Panic distorts memory. Trauma bends perception. But as data accumulates, a disturbing pattern emerges. This is not a new devil. Devils leave signatures. They resonate with fear. They bend reality in recognizable ways. Kratos leaves nothing. No lingering terror. No corrupted space. No contract traces. It is as if fear itself is being denied the right to exist around him. That realization unsettles even veteran hunters. In the Chainsaw Man world, strength always has a cost. The more powerful the devil, the heavier the price demanded. Even the strongest hunters are walking corpses, trading years of life for moments of borrowed strength. Kratos pays nothing. He moves through devil-infested zones without preparation. He does not observe, he does not plan, he does not hesitate. When a devil appears, it ends. Not because he hunts them, because they challenge his presence by existing. Mid-level devils attempt to organize. Fear-based predators accustomed to dominance try coordination for the first time in years. Ambushes are set. Traps designed to overwhelm even elite hunters are activated. They fail instantly. Devils cannot comprehend an enemy that does not react to fear. Their attacks are shaped by terror, sharp, monstrous, overwhelming to the mind. Kratos has endured gods who embodied concepts far older and more terrible than human fear. Compared to that, devils feel incomplete. Inferior. Kratos does not adapt to this world. This world bends around him. As his path of destruction grows, something even more dangerous begins to happen. Humans start to notice. Civilians witness devils falling without collateral damage. Streets once abandoned slowly repopulate. Fear does not vanish entirely, it never truly does, but it weakens. Whispers spread, not of terror, but of something else. Hope. That terrifies public safety more than any devil. Hope destabilizes the system. If humans believe they can survive without contracts, the balance collapses. If fear weakens, devils weaken. If devils weaken, the power structure fractures. Kratos does not intend to inspire anything, but his existence changes the emotional ecosystem of the world, and that makes him a threat greater than any devil. Public safety escalates. Elite hunters are deployed, accompanied by contracted devils meant for containment rather than elimination. The goal is no longer observation, it is control, capture, if possible, elimination if necessary. The confrontation happens in a wide industrial zone, chosen to minimize civilian exposure. The air is heavy with anticipation, thick with the invisible weight of multiple contracts activating at once. Kratos walks into it without slowing. Devils emerge from shadows, steel, smoke, and blood. Each represents a human fear refined into weaponized form. They attack in waves, overlapping abilities designed to confuse, immobilize, and destroy. Kratos advances. Every step forward dismantles the illusion that this is a fight. Weapons shatter on his skin. Reality-warping abilities fail to anchor. Fear-based hallucinations collapse the moment they touch his mind. He has already lived every nightmare this world can imagine. And worse, a contracted devil attempts negotiation. It speaks of power, of authority, of balance. Kratos does not answer. The devil vanishes. Silence follows. Hunters realize the truth too late. This is not a being that can be reasoned with. This is not a force that can be absorbed into the system. Kratos does not overthrow hierarchies. He erases them by existing above them. One hunter, more perceptive than the rest, understands the deeper problem. Chainsaw Man was dangerous because he disrupted devils through fear and chaos. But Chainsaw Man was still part of the system. His legend fed fear. His existence strengthened certain devils, even as it destroyed others. Kratos does the opposite. He does not create myths. He ends them. Devils killed by Kratos do not echo back into fear cycles the same way. Their absence leaves gaps. Concepts weaken. Contracts tied to them destabilize. The ecosystem fractures further. And somewhere deeper, older devils begin to stir. Not because they are angry, because they are afraid. The strongest devils were born from primal fears: death, darkness, control, pain. They have existed longer than modern civilization. They have seen empires rise and fall. None of them have encountered something like this. Kratos does not radiate fear. He radiates inevitability. As the dust settles, public safety issues a silent order. Avoid direct engagement. Observe only. Contain the narrative. They cannot stop him, but they can try to control what the world believes about him. But belief is already shifting. Children no longer whisper only about devils. They whisper about the man who walks through them. Kratos does not hear the whispers. He does not care. His path is not guided by this world's rules or desires. He moves forward because something in this world is rotten, familiar, and offensive to him. A system that feeds on suffering. A hierarchy built on exploiting the weak. Kratos has destroyed worlds for less, and as stronger devils begin to prepare, one truth becomes unavoidable. This world does not need Chainsaw Man anymore. It has something far worse. And the real battle has not even begun. Fear has layers. Most devils are born from everyday anxieties: pain, violence, loss, hunger. They are strong, but limited. Reflections of a fragile civilization afraid of itself. But beneath them exist the primal devils. Not ideas, not legends, foundations. They are born from fear so ancient that humanity never learned to name them properly. Death, darkness, control, extinction. Concepts that predate language, civilization, even morality. These devils do not hunt humans for survival. They exist because fear itself cannot imagine a world without them. When Kratos disrupts the system, they feel it immediately. Not like a threat, like a contradiction. The absence left behind by erased devils ripples through the fear network. Contracts fail, symbols weaken. The emotional balance that sustains the world begins to tilt. For the first time in ages, fear does not flow upward toward the strongest. It leaks away. And primal devils do not tolerate imbalance. Deep within spaces that do not fully exist, something watches Kratos. Not with rage, not with hunger, with calculation. This being does not care about humans or public safety. It cares about continuity. Kratos is discontinuity incarnate. A manifestation forms, not to fight, but to observe. The pressure around it is suffocating. Reality bends slightly as if refusing to host something so absolute. Where it stands, sound dulls, color fades, and movement feels delayed. Kratos stops walking. For the first time since arriving in this world, something has earned his attention. The primal devil does not attack. It speaks. Not aloud, but directly into the space between thoughts. This world requires fear. Without fear, it collapses. Kratos does not answer immediately. He has spoken to gods who claimed order, balance, destiny. He has heard this justification before, always from beings who benefit from suffering while pretending it is necessary. Finally, he responds, "This world deserves to collapse. The primal devil does not react emotionally. Emotion is unnecessary at this level. Instead, it reveals truth, or what it believes is truth. Fear shapes humanity. Fear drives progress. Fear enforces restraint. Without it, humans become reckless, violent, uncontrollable." Kratos takes a step forward. Humans were reckless long before you. The statement is not philosophical, it is historical. Kratos has watched empires burn without devils guiding them. He has seen gods manipulate mortals far more cruelly than fear ever could. This world's justification disgusts him because it is lazy. Suffering is easier than responsibility. The primal devil understands then. This is not a being that can be frightened into submission. This is not a hero that can be manipulated. Kratos is something older than fear-based systems, something forged in consequence. The space around them tightens. The primal devil does not fully engage, but its presence alone begins to destabilize the area. Buildings creak. Air compresses. Humans miles away feel dread without knowing why. Kratos endures it without bending. This is not the first embodiment of inevitability he has faced, but this is the first that wears fear as law rather than weapon. Public safety watches from a distance, powerless. Their instruments fail to measure what is happening. They cannot quantify the presence. They cannot classify the threat. Two absolutes stand in opposition. The primal devil withdraws, not in defeat, in calculation. If Kratos cannot be controlled through fear, then fear must be sharpened. Across the world, devil activity surges, not randomly but deliberately. Fear spikes in targeted ways. Disasters, massacres, manipulations. The world begins to panic again, violently correcting itself. Devils grow stronger. But so does Kratos' resolve. As the world descends into engineered terror, Kratos moves toward its epicenter, not chasing devils, but seeking the source. He understands now that this world is not sick by accident. It is maintained. Every system that feeds on suffering convinces itself it is necessary. Kratos has destroyed gods who believed the same. The more the world tries to drown itself in fear, the clearer the contrast becomes. Humans begin to notice that where Kratos passes, fear loses its grip. Devils hesitate. Panic dulls. The world breathes, briefly, before collapsing again elsewhere. That contradiction fuels chaos. Some humans begin to resist contracts. Others seek Kratos out. Public safety fractures internally. Hunters question orders. Leadership fears collapse. The system was never meant to face a force that invalidates its core premise. Fear is no longer absolute, and the primal devils understand something terrifying. If Kratos reaches the deepest layer of this world, the foundation where fear is law, the concept itself may not survive intact. This is no longer about territory or dominance or balance. This is about extinction, not of humanity, but of fear as the ruling principle. Kratos does not march toward a throne. He marches toward the root, and the world prepares to answer him with everything it has left. The world does not surrender quietly. When fear begins to weaken at its foundation, the response is not subtle. It is violent, calculated, and absolute. The primal devils no longer observe from the shadows. They act with intent, reshaping reality itself to remind humanity why fear was crowned king in the first place. Cities descend into orchestrated chaos, not random disasters, but carefully engineered horrors. Trains derail at rush hour. Entire districts lose power and vanish into darkness. Mass hallucinations sweep through populations, forcing people to relive their worst memories simultaneously. Fear spikes everywhere at once, saturating the world like poison in water, and devils grow stronger. For the first time since Kratos arrived, the world feels heavy again, not oppressive to him, but louder. Fear screams through the fabric of reality, demanding attention, demanding obedience. Kratos stands at the edge of a ruined district and watches it burn. He does not flinch. This is not new to him. Worlds always reveal their true nature when threatened. The difference is that this world believes fear will stop him. The primal devils manifest more fully now, no longer content with intermediaries. Their forms are incomplete, impossible to fully comprehend, as if reality itself refuses to translate them properly. They are not monsters in the traditional sense. They are rules given shape. One embodies control, the fear of losing agency, of being watched, of being owned. Another embodies death, not violent death, but the certainty that all things end. A third radiates suffocation, the terror of being trapped with no escape. Together, they stabilize the system. Fear surges back into balance, or so they believe. Kratos walks forward. Each step he takes is an act of defiance, not against the devils themselves, but against the idea that suffering is necessary. The ground cracks beneath him, not from force, but from contradiction. This world was not designed to host something that rejects its core principle. The primal devils attack together, not with claws or fire, but with reality itself. Space compresses, time stutters. The weight of inevitability presses down, attempting to force Kratos into submission. Fear floods the area, not as emotion, but as law. This is how they have crushed everything before. Kratos endures it. Memories surge, Olympus in flames, gods screaming. Betrayal layered upon betrayal. But these memories do not weaken him. They sharpen him. Fear has never been his master. Loss has. And loss taught him one thing. Nothing that demands suffering deserves to stand. Kratos pushes forward. The control devil tightens its influence, attempting to seize his will, to dominate his actions, to force obedience. It fails instantly. Kratos' will was broken and reforged long before fear learned how to speak. The death devil attempts something subtler. It shows him endings, endless cycles of destruction, the futility of resistance, the certainty that even he will fall eventually. Kratos answers by striking it, not with rage, with finality. The blow does not destroy the devil completely. Such concepts cannot be erased easily, but it fractures it. For the first time in this world's history, a primal fear recoils. The shockwaves ripple outward. Humans feel it. Devils feel it. Fear itself hesitates. Public safety loses control entirely. Communication collapses. Leadership fractures. Hunters abandon posts, not out of cowardice, but confusion. The rules no longer work. Contracts fluctuate wildly. Some devils weaken mid-fight as fear around them destabilizes. The system is failing, and the primal devils realize they have made a critical error. By escalating fear to stop Kratos, they have revealed themselves. They have proven that this world is not protected by necessity, but by enforcement. Kratos advances toward the deepest layer, a place where fear is no longer reaction, but infrastructure. A conceptual core where suffering is processed, distributed, and recycled endlessly. The world resists him violently. Storms form without weather. Gravity twists. Entire buildings collapse inward as if trying to bury him. Devils throw themselves at him not to win, but to delay. They die without meaning. As Kratos reaches the threshold, the primal devils make their final argument. If fear dies, humanity will destroy itself. Kratos stops, not because he doubts, because the statement deserves acknowledgement. He has seen humanity without fear. He has seen what they are capable of, and still he steps forward. Then let them choose. The answer is not mercy. It is honesty. Fear is not a savior. It is a cage. And a world that cannot survive without a cage deserves to fall or evolve. The primal devils attack with everything they have left. The clash is catastrophic. Reality fractures. Fear collapses inward. The system that has ruled this world since its inception begins to tear itself apart under the strain of its own contradictions. Kratos stands at the center of it all, unmoved. He does not seek to rule. He does not seek to replace fear. He seeks to end the lie that suffering is the only way forward. And as the core destabilizes, the world faces a choice it has never been allowed to make: cling to fear or face consequence. The answer will define everything that comes next. The collapse does not begin with an explosion. It begins with silence. As the core of the system fractures, fear does not scream. It hesitates. For the first time since this world learned to breathe, terror loses its rhythm. The invisible machinery that once processed suffering, redistributed panic, and reinforced hierarchy begins to fail. not because it is attacked, but because it is denied legitimacy. The primal devils strain against the collapse, their forms destabilizing as the concept they embody loses coherence. Fear was never just an emotion here. It was law, infrastructure, justification. And now, that law is breaking under the weight of a single truth. It was never necessary. Kratos stands at the center of the fracture, surrounded by distortion. Space folds inward. Time misaligns. The world attempts to correct itself, desperately trying to reassert the rule it has lived under for generations. Fear must rule. Kratos refuses. The Death Devil lashes out one final time, not with inevitability, but with desperation. It shows Kratos a vision, a future without fear, humans turning on each other, violence without restraint, chaos without boundaries. Kratos watches without blinking. He has seen that future. He has lived it. And he knows the lie embedded in the vision. Fear did not prevent cruelty. It excused it. With a final act of defiance, Kratos drives forward. Not to erase fear entirely, such things cannot simply vanish, but to break its monopoly. The system implodes inward, collapsing into itself as contradictions tear it apart. The primal devils lose cohesion, not destroyed, displaced, reduced from rulers to echoes. Across the world, the effects are immediate and uneven. Devils weaken unpredictably. Some vanish entirely, no longer sustained by the intensity of fear they once fed upon. Others remain but diminished, forced into forms that no longer dominate by default. Contracts unravel. Some hunters survive. Some do not. Public safety ceases to function as an institution. Its authority depended on a stable system of terror, and that stability is gone. What remains is uncertainty, raw, frightening, but honest. For the first time, fear is no longer mandatory. Humanity reacts slowly. Some panic, some riot, some freeze, unsure how to exist, without an invisible hand dictating their place in the hierarchy. But something else happens too. People make choices, not good ones, not noble ones, just real ones, and that is enough. Kratos watches the world from a fractured skyline as dawn breaks unevenly across the city. The sun looks wrong, not because it has changed, but because the world beneath it has. This is not a saved world, it is a free one, and freedom is always dangerous. Kratos does not stay. He never does. His role is not to guide, rebuild, or protect. He is not a god of hope. He is not a guardian. He is consequence given form. He turns away from the city as humans begin to step into a future without guarantees. Some will rebuild systems just as cruel as the old ones. Others will resist them. That struggle is no longer his concern. His work here is finished. This world will remember him incorrectly. Some will call him a destroyer. Others will call him a savior. Both will be wrong. Kratos was neither. He was a test, and the world survived, scarred, shaken, and forever changed. Fear still exists, but it no longer rules unquestioned. As reality closes behind him, the world is left with a truth it can never unlearn. Kratos did not come to dominate this world, but it did not survive his presence unchanged. And somewhere beyond this reality, another world waits. Another system built on suffering. Another lie waiting to be exposed. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the Kratos Effect, and comment below which universe you want to see shattered next. Your ideas help decide where Kratos goes and what breaks him in the next story.